Can you hear me in the back okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and start off with our wave of kindness. I'll invite up Barb Rios.
Hi, everybody. So we're starting the wave of kindness, and next month I'll bring the people up so you can see them, but short notice, I didn't get it arranged. But I will read two of them. We did receive 15 waves of kindness for July, and the first one is for Chris Billingsley. Chris went above and beyond to help Michelle prepare coffee snacks for the Care Center state survey. Eddie asked her to prepare the items for Michelle. Not only did Chris prepare it, but she brought it to the Care Center west entrance and set it up. Thanks, Chris, for taking the extra steps. And the other one I'm going to read is for Michelle Rom. Recently, Michelle has helped me with secure emails and fraud issues on my iPad. Not only is she super knowledgeable with IT equipment, but she was so willing to help me, stopping her work as if mine was more important. Her help, her positive attitude, patience, and most of all, her kindness is to be applauded and rewarded. She is the best.
Michelle's here. Would you like to stand up, say a word or two?
Yeah. I appreciate every last one of you.
She said she appreciates every last one of you. It sounded much better coming from her. All right, so we've got just kind of the standard agenda today. Hopefully, I think we'll have enough time to get through it this time. I kept it light intentionally in case we had other discussion come up. So, but let's go ahead and move right into the committee updates. We'll start with the Building and Grounds Committee. Mr. Scott.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to recognize Bill Helms. Bill's over here to the left. Bill is stepping down from the Building and Grounds Committee. I think he was one of the originals. Is that correct?
Well, between the both of them.
Okay. He and Nancy were originals. And he's done yeoman work. We appreciate what Bill's done for the committee. And he'll be replaced by Gary Nielsen. Is Gary here? Okay, and Gary will step into the spot that Bill is vacating, and we welcome Gary. Look forward to working with him. Again, let me give you the perspective for Building and Grounds. Our duty is to identify and develop things that will enhance safety, reduce costs, and improve living experience here at Mason Pointe. That doesn't mean that we physically do the things, but we invent them, and we have to sell them to Drew and to the LSS budget if they're justified. So we're about enhancing safety, reducing costs, and improving the living experience. Old items that we've had on our list and working, the debris cleanup at E1 has been done. We'll be dropping that. The lighting at E2, the state says we've got all the light that we can put at E2 under the present codes. So that one will be dropped. Public bathroom lighting and down lighting in the halls. We're waiting on a change in the circuitry for the public bathrooms. Those turn out to be on the same circuit as the hall lights that we like to reduce. And so at 10 o'clock at night, if we turn the hall lights off, all those public bathrooms go off. So as soon as we can get those recircuited, we'll move ahead with that. Have no information on the sauna, sidewalk in 115. Drew was going to get some information for us related to emergency plans, and that'll be coming shortly. Bob Bechtel brought up an interesting question that we're going to put on our new items list next Thursday, or a week from Thursday, and that's electric cars in the garage. I hadn't thought about that, but if you watch the news periodically, and I'll use the Tesla as an example, a Tesla will catch fire and just kind of out of the blue, and you can't do anything with it. You know, they're lithium batteries, you put water on them, it simply makes them go faster. And so we've got to think our way through what we do with electric cars. We have some hybrids down there now, but what happens when we get more electric cars? What's the risk, and what do we do about it? Announcement site-wide was a problem recently. There was an announcement made one time, couldn't understand it. Drew was going to have some work done to that. And I think some of that work has probably been done, but I heard an announcement for a test drill in assisted living, like on Saturday. And it was clear, concise, and done multiple times like you would expect it to do. So that's all I have this morning. Be glad to take questions if anybody has a question. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a question, but I want to thank Bill Lynch because he's the piano waterer, and I came up and checked the piano. And for you who don't know, we have to water the piano. It has a humidifier on it to keep the humidity level so that we don't lose the sounding board. And so all I did was say to Bill, after the meeting, would you help Scotty water the piano? And before the meeting started, he'd already done it. So thank you, Bill. He's handy in a lot of ways, so thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Been watering and watering, piano doesn't grow. That's unfortunate.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. All right, next can we have the food committee? Or quickly.
Okay, well, I'm sure some of you have noticed that the cooler in the in 40 West has been down this last week. So we've not been able to have the same items on the menu like Southwest salad, wraps, pizzas. And we're still waiting on parts and the repair people to come in. So we're hoping by the end of this week, maybe Thursday, it'll be done. In the meantime, they are making ahead some popular items. So you can get a house salad, a strawberry field salad, a Reuben sandwich, a turkey club sandwich, and a roast beef sandwich. But I'm sorry, no wraps, which I like, and no pizza till the end of this week. Also, we talked about the reusable containers because apparently there's some confusion about that and how much they cost, how they work, and all of that. So food service is putting together a flyer to give you information on that, and they ought to be posting the prices in the market so you know how much they cost also. Okay, disappearing coffee cups. You know, we've been around this before, and we're back around it again. I would say, in the interest of the environment, since everyone's concerned about recycling, that you bring your own mug or coffee cup to get your coffee, and don't assume anything's there, because we have apparently some people who need a lot of cups, and so they take a lot of the cups, and they keep refilling them, and they're disappearing. So I would encourage you to simply bring your own and assume that they're not there while we figure out what we're going to do about that. And especially now, as long as I'm on the topic of coffee, the machines on the first floor aren't working. And Renoka was just out here. They've been called to come out again, and they should be here, we hope, today to fix them once more. So we're working on it. a couple of weeks ago or so, one of the residents suggested maybe it's time for another survey. And so I wanted to be sure to answer that, and that the committee discussed it with food service, and we feel like right now that's not a necessary item. We're not getting any feedback through the comment card. So if you've got some feedback or some thoughts about the menu or whatever, that's the place to go for now, because we've got a lot of other things, especially with the holidays coming up. This isn't the time for that. And we've made so many changes, we need to see how those work out. Okay, Simone's, 40 West will be closed on the 31st from 2 to 4 while they do some prep and tasting for the employees on the new Simone's menu for next month, which is going to be Southern Comfort food. That is Southern Comfort food, not Southern Comfort. So if you want some of that, you'll probably have to bring your own. The menu for that should be in your mail slots late tomorrow or Wednesday. And regarding the holidays, if you're planning on having any groups of people in, parties, family from out of town, or anything like that, please see Madison, who takes care of all the catering, and get yourself on the schedule, because if you wait too long, you may not be able to be fitted in, and they'd like to have as much time in advance to plan. Our spaces are limited for large groups of people, so be sure and make your plans and let them know. Are there any questions?
Where are the comment cards?
The comment cards are located, unless someone is taking those too, they are located in the market or at the pub, or there's a comment station there by the mailroom too. So, any other?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the dining room then closed for lunch on Thursday, the 31st?
The dining room is only closed from 2 to 4.
Oh,
Just so what they do is they prepare the items for Simone's for the following month, and then they let the employees taste them and look at them, so that when you go in to order, they can describe to you what it is that's on the menu.
So, will Simone's be open like during the holidays and not have a special theme?
No. Oh, you mean Christmas holidays?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's to be
So you
determined.
bring large groups
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think, we haven't really talked about that, but I don't think there's going to be a special for the December.
October will be our last month, and then we'll have it open for like private parties and caterings and things like that.
Okay.
And no, for November and December.
Okay, there's your answer. Anything else? Okay.
Thank you, Barb. Employee appreciation, nothing today, get in the way. Lifestyle.
Thank you. Vi's not able to be here today, so I'm going to try and do her report and mine. You probably all got the newsletter, and hopefully you continue to look at the trip levels. You know, there's 1, 2, and 3. The trips that are also in the newsletter is the Melvin Price Lock and Dam, which is Friday, September 1st. So that's coming up quickly. We're having a University City tour and trolley ride, Katy Trail tram ride, History Museum, and lunch in the cafe. And the other last thing I want to mention about events is we're going to have coffee concerts with the Sheldon Concert Hall. And at 1:45 today, you can sign up for them. You will be charged as soon as you sign up. Okay, anybody got any questions about that?
Not on Touchdown.
No, it's not on Touchdown, but it is on the flyer.
Yeah, but where do you sign up?
Downstairs where you sign up for regular things.
Mary, I was going to talk about that. I talked to Jen about it this morning.
She needs the mic.
I was gonna talk to y'all about that. The concert thing that you all received in your box, the program on that, it's $85 for all 5 concerts, and they run from October through April, I believe it is. After each you'll be going in the bus, from the bus room at 8 o'clock in the morning to go down and have coffee and goodies, which is a lot of good pastries. And then the concert is an hour, and afterwards at 11, after we get out of the concert hall and board the bus, we'll come back here, and our cafeteria, or our dining facility, is going to prepare a special lunch for the people that are on the trip, and they may sign up for that each month, and we will know ahead of time about the luncheon. They will let us know at each month of the concert if you'd like to sign up when you get back here for the special luncheon in Simone's. And you can go to 1 or 3 or whatever. But when you buy the tickets, all 5 tickets will be given to you as soon as we receive them from Sheldon, and they will be yours. And you may keep them, use them, pass them out, or do anything you want to with them, but they will be yours. Any question about that? Have I missed anything? Yes. Sign up, as Mary said, is today.
Today downstairs.
Today downstairs in the first floor living room, I believe, Jen, if that's not right. They will sign up today in the first floor living room after 1:45 on.
What day of the week is that?
Their concerts are all on a Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
You want to know the date?
Is there anything else I need? The dates were on your paper that you
Well,
received.
they're in the newsletter too.
Okay, I was gonna say they're both places. The Gazette and on the paper you received in your boxes.
Is there any questions? Okay. And to continue on with the report, first of all, Vi and I want to thank you, and also the other committee members, for your response of our survey. We had over a 50% response, so we are just very, very happy about that. We've gone through the different responses, and we were kind of surprised at some of the responses, which is nice. The number 1 response for the trips was Jefferson Barracks Tour, Telephone Museum, Civil War Museum. So that's one we will work on and make sure happens. A guided tour of some historic St. Louis neighborhoods was one that got a very high response. Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum got a good response. And for speakers, we broke the survey down in trips and in speakers. And for the speakers, one of the highest ones to receive was the Route 66 history. And the concert level musical performances got a high rating. And also the World's Fair history. And we want to thank you for not only completing the survey, but thank you for all your comments. We just very, very much appreciated it. So thanks again. Does anybody have any questions about the survey, or you need any clarification about that? Yes, we just thank you again, and we have started working on your responses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. One point of clarification about the coffee concerts was the reason the sign up is downstairs is because there was an issue in Touchdown this morning. That one's not showing up. They called Touchdown, I guess, over and over since 8, and it's just not showing up. So that's the reason that you have to go down there for that. There was something else I was going to say and I've forgotten it. So we'll move to the next committee. All those great activities. I wanted to take a minute. I do it in email, but I want to recognize Chuck Forbes over here and thank him for all the work he does. There's so many great things going on. Hopefully you've had a chance. We replayed the last month, well, it was earlier this month, the all-resident meeting that we had. If you weren't here, you missed quite the show. And hopefully you had a chance to watch it back in your apartment. So look for that more and more to be happening. So as we bring in speakers, different piano players, various entertainment, look for us to schedule that into your apartments. So hopefully that's an exciting thing for you. Next, Wellness Committee, Joyce.
Good morning. I had a very long list and I cut it back so we wouldn't be here very long. So I'm going to refer you to the newsletter for a lot of information rather than explain it to you. Grief Share has been extended another week. It was too hot in there, so they didn't have one of their meetings. So now instead of ending at the end of August, it's going to go till 6th of September. And if you remember last month, I talked about we wanted to form a Parkinson's support group. We're now going to do it. We had enough people interested. So once again, if you're interested, let your wellness rep know. And when, where, and how is still being worked out, but we will be putting one together. Prayer group, we were looking for a new lead. We've worn Sue Jackson out. So if you're interested in leading that support group, you can check with Sue on what's needed, but let your wellness rep know that also. Then I have a list of events and speakers here. We have some really neat stuff coming up. We have the usual, and not to say that it's not neat, meditation with Kathleen and Zumba Gold and Phyllis Sparks' monthly talk. You can check Touchtown or the Gazette for that. But I wanted to let you know what Phyllis Sparks' topic was because she always has a different one. This time it will be accepting change in order to relax. Then we have a very interesting thing coming up tomorrow on palliative care. And I did mention that last time. It's going to be an explanation of what is palliative care and why do I care what palliative care is. So they're going to explain that to you. And this is an LSS thing, so it should be pretty good. That is tomorrow at 11 a.m. right here in this room. Then we had something pop up just Thursday, which you haven't heard about yet. This is getting a good night's sleep, which I wish I'd had the talk so it could have helped me last night, because man, am I tired. So on August 30th, which is Wednesday, this is a Blue Cross Blue Shield webinar. So they should know what they're talking about. And it's in the theater, it's at 1 p.m., so obviously if it's in the theater, we're gonna have limited sign up, but we would like you to sign up. And there was supposed to be an explanation that just got put on this morning, a lengthy one of what it is, but after we said that thing about something not showing up at Touchtown, I'm not sure the explanation is gonna be there, but hopefully check Touchtown when you sign up and it should describe what they're gonna do. They're going to talk about how to get one, what it's supposed to do for you, how lack of sleep affects your ability to think, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to talk about what is the optimal amount of sleep to get. I hope the write-up's there. So that's Wednesday, 1 o'clock in the theater. Another interesting one is on the 12th of September, Living with Cardiac Conditions. This is David Lane from Simbra. It's going to be in the MP Theater again at 11 a.m. And I think this is interesting because, a lot of us have heart problems. This is going to tell you, talk about exercise for people with heart problems, et cetera, et cetera. That should be pretty good. 20th of September, this is really unique. We've got a 6-week series called Maestro Book Workshop by Rick and Stacy. Location and time have not been determined yet. And once again, it's 6 weeks, so 6 consecutive weeks. And it has a pretty good write-up in the Gazette, so I'm not going to tell you about it, but check that out, because this is very unique, a one-time offering. Last, we have a reminder again, because I mentioned it last month, November 8th, Surviving the Holidays. This is a grief share, MP Theater, time isn't set up yet. But we're going to talk about grief and how it relates to get through the holidays. If you're missing someone at Christmas time, this will be the way to go. Okay. and I don't take questions, so I'm done.
Thanks, Joyce. Anything from the Hook and Needle Club today, Judy? I'll bet the sweater sales were down with the heat last week.
Actually, no. No. Please come and see us in the third floor meeting room. We're open Thursdays and Fridays from 2 to 4. We had a large donation of lots of fleece and lots of flannel. So we were very busy distributing flannel to different organizations, et cetera, that we couldn't use, but we picked out a huge stash for ourselves. And we're busy now making clothing protectors for the care center. And we're going to have lots of them. And I'd like to first thank Ann Spohr. She gave us a good idea, and she started by offering to cut out, we give her a pattern, and she cuts out the flannel fabrics for us, 2 pieces, pins them together, because she doesn't have a sewing machine, so she brings them to us, and Mary and different people are sewing them now. So it cuts out on the labor. So if there's anybody else out there that has time and would like to cut out some simple patterns and pin them together, we'd love to have you help us out. So, because we have a goal, I think, of 100 to make 100 protectors. So, yeah, so far I think we're up to 14 cut out, so we'll get there. The fleece, lots of fleece was donated as well. A lot of prints and some solid fabrics. They're $15. They turn out real cozy. I think you saw them last month. So, Donna Norton came last Thursday with a donation. She's been working all summer, and she brought her collection that she crocheted or knitted. Crocheted. They're gorgeous. Caps and scarves to match for winter. They're going to make beautiful gifts for somebody, or if you need a cap and a scarf, come and see. They're just gorgeous. But I don't want to leave out Janet Garvin. She's a great crocheter as well, and she's made some beautiful scarves. And Janet helps every Thursday and Friday manning the store, so thanks to her. You just need to come and see what we all have. We've already had $5,000, I think, since last Christmas. And a year ago, I think we got 7,000. So maybe we'll make it again. So, and it all goes to the Employee Appreciation Fund. So we really appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Judy. All right, so we're going to pause right here. We'll get right back to the club updates, but we had a visitor walk in, and I'm going to ask Sue to introduce who's here with us today.
Thank you. I think a lot of you know that since early June, Ward 4 has been underrepresented due to the resignation of prior alderman. And as of the last couple of weeks, the mayor and the board voted to appoint David Murphy. David's hit the road running. He's just been over to Municipal Center. He's wanting to know everything about everybody. David has been a very active member on some commissions and activities to do with arts and parks and trails. And he's impressed all those who have known him in the city, and we're very lucky. And David Murphy, you'll hear his name in the next few months, and you'll see it again in April. So David Murphy is here to for you all to meet, and he has about 5 minutes, he said. So we'll bring him back again.
Hi, everybody. First off, I know you're not supposed to do this, That was a wonderful introduction by Alderwoman Allen, but I actually have to take issue with one thing that Sue said, and that is the idea that you guys have been underrepresented. No, Sue Allen has been a force in the city government for Town and Country, and you are very well represented. I'm just pleased to be joining the Board of Aldermen to be another vote to support all your needs. So, David Murphy. Nobody knows who David Murphy, I bet, is in this room. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am, where I'm from, and what my areas of focus are. As Sue mentioned, I've been actively involved in a lot of community activities over the last couple of years. Parks and trails, public arts activities, and just kind of the man about town, trying to help and do as best I can for as many people as possible. Why do I do that? I do that because public service is incredibly important to me. It's how I was raised, how I was brought up, that we all have to contribute to the public at large, and that we all have to make the world a little bit better by contributing somehow, whether it's through work effort, work ethic, financial, whatever it might be. So be proud of your community, be proud of what you stand for. I'm really pleased to be able to introduce myself to this community. Hi, neighbors. I live over in Cheshire Farm, which is right off of Conway, so just a little, not too far from here. My wife, Denise, is a pediatrician here in town. Collectively, we have 5 kids. We're a blended marriage. So I think every adult in here is probably going to sigh and kind of grimace when they hear I have 5 kids. It gets better. 2 are in medical school. 1 is a nurse at Barnes. 1 is wrapping up her college education and wants to go to law school, of course. So I'll be working for a little bit longer. And the 5th one is actually out in Arizona doing software development for a biotech company. Are we proud? Of course we're proud. These are great stories. These are kids that grew up in the community, went through the public school system, and have just done tremendous things. So we are blessed, and I'm sure everyone in this room is blessed with your children as well. Moving forward, where my areas of focus are, I'm a firm believer in community engagement. I think the power of any city, it comes from the people and getting them engaged and actively involved. I also see the importance of having the right infrastructure for any city and any community. You know, whether it's repairing roads, building sidewalks, making sure that the water systems are properly set up, all those type of things. These are areas of interest and concern for me, for Town and Country. But most importantly, it's communicating to the people, making sure that our neighbors are aware of what's going on. So I hope that over the future, I'm allowed to come on back in, spend a little bit of time with all you guys, and I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on in the city, what I'm up to, and how I'm trying to deliver value for you and everyone else in the community. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, feel free to raise a hand, or Murphy for Alderman at Gmail, or on the Town and Country site is all my contact information. So appreciate Drew allowing me to speak to this. Thank you all.
Anybody else hear Mr. Murphy say he was a vote for our interests? We got you on camera. No, thank you for being here. Okay, Library Club, anything for you guys today? No. Veterans Club, Hank, anything?
Just real quickly, there's no veterans meeting in September because of Labor Day, but we will have a meeting in October, and we'll have Jim Riggins from the St. Charles County Veterans Museum talk to us about that facility, which is located in O'Fallon. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcoming Club.
New move-ins, and if you're here, would you please stand up? Pat Akers, she moved into 264. Thank you, Pat. Diane Tesserow, she moved into 258. Barb Schuyler, 356.
Schiller?
Oh, Schiller, Schieler. And Fran Toromina in 332. And then I think there's going to be 2 or 3 more next month, and we'll put those names out at the next meeting. Thank you. Oh, Kay, sorry.
I just wanted to stand up so they can see me, and I take pictures of people, and I do it on Saturday and Monday, and if you want your pictures printed, you can sign up on touchdown. If you don't sign up, I may not be here.
Okay, did everybody hear what she said? Okay, she takes the pictures, as I think most of you all know, and you just have to contact Kay, or she's downstairs on the first floor on Saturdays and Mondays. Is that right?
If they sign up.
If they sign up, okay.
Down there.
Right. Yeah, if you don't sign up, she's probably not going to be down there. But anyway, also, if you want your picture retaken, because after living at Mason Pointe, you probably all look a lot better. So you can have it retaken. I've done it 10 times, no, I'm sitting. But anyway, any other questions? Did you have a question, Ron? Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. I think all those residents are here. Pat, you're just the only one that was willing to stand up and be recognized. Everybody else is just laying low. Workshop club, Ron, anything? Nothing today? Okay, I've got just a couple announcements before we move on. If you could, please remember to return the carts to the garage when you use those. We've talked about that before, haven't we? I think that's been an issue again, it sounds like. Maybe we'll get a couple of Apple AirTags and put on those or something. And maybe the coffee cups too. We're going to need cameras everywhere. Recycling rooms, you know. All right. I think that's actually it. Am I missing any? Somebody wave at me if I'm forgetting to announce something. Okay. All right. I get hit with requests right before we start this meeting, so it's hard to always remember them all. Okay, so hot topics today. Let's see how we're doing on time. We should have plenty of time for me to go through this list and then just open it up to questions and answers. So we talked about whiteboards last month, right? Earlier this month. Just a quick update there. You know that I hate whiteboards, right? That was clear from the meeting earlier. So actually downstairs today they're installing the television screen next to the pub. Or next to the bar where all the licenses hung. And so that is the compromise to replace the whiteboard. So they will display, things like the drink of the month. They'll display the joke of the day on that screen. So we're back to having the joke of the day. We're back to having the drink of the month. I think everybody's happy, right? So that's the update there. I was going to talk about air conditioning for a minute. They mentioned earlier that it was too hot to do the grief share. The air conditioner that serves the community center is scheduled to be replaced next year. I mentioned to a couple of you last week we had a number of issues. A big thanks to Tim and the maintenance team for keeping the building going. We were concerned at one point that one of those units wasn't going to make it through the week, and that was over in the care center, and that would have meant probably evacuation. So, but Tim and crew kept it going, and we didn't have to do that. But we have about 8 different units that serve this entire community, and a lot of those units are original to when this was built, so over 20 years ago. And so they cost around $150,000 to $175,000 each. And so we have them all on a replacement schedule, and I think we're 4 years into that replacement schedule. But I was just letting you know that the one that serves this part of the building is due for replacement probably, early next year? as soon as they let him order it. So just so you know, hopefully we won't have those issues. Of course, for those of you that have been complaining about the hallway temperatures, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? Right? No, I guess that's not funny. Okay. We'll move on. Okay, the bus is the other one that we're having questions about. So I've mentioned in the past that we do plan to order a bus next year. I told you that we would submit that for a capital request. We're right now in the middle of budget season with LSS, and we have put that in the budget. Right now we have a placeholder for, how about we do it? Somebody take a guess. What do you think a bus like that costs nowadays? Anybody have a guess? I heard 175, I heard 500. What was that, Lou?
175,000.
That's pretty close. So we put a $200,000 placeholder in next year's budget. And so, you know, that has to go through the board of directors, but I just wanted to remind everybody that that is on paper and been submitted. We're still looking at different models and things. Our home office helps us source all those vehicles like that. So I just wanted to let you all know that. Oh, got a couple hands, Mike.
Bus a new bus or a replacement? Second one or a replacement?
The question was, will it be a new bus or a replacement bus? And the answer is it would be an additional bus from what we have on campus today.
New or old?
Well, it'll be new. It'll be new, but it's not like we're trading it out for one that we already have. I think that's what you were asking, right, Mike? Yeah.
So what size?
That's still up for debate, but it's going to be large. It's going to be large. Larger. That's the goal. Denise?
I just want to know, when is the budget, when did you, I mean, time frame, what are we talking about as far as, is the budget in, somewhere I heard that the budget started in July or August for the next year rather than in the chronological year.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's true, then we could get a bus before the end of next year then, is what I'm saying, or when will the orders be coming in to get the budget? Any idea?
Yeah, so the question is just about the budget timeline. We're preparing the budgets right now, and ultimately those will go before the board of directors for approval in the month of November of this year. And then they'll tell us what the final budget was, and so we can begin ordering as early as January 1st of next year.
And does that take a long time to get such a thing? I have no idea.
I don't know. I'll have to ask that question. If I had to guess, I'd say the first half of next year we would anticipate having it. That's closer to the end of the first half, but we could order it in early January. So we'll let you know though as things progress. A couple hands back there.
Have you considered or going to consider leasing one to make it an expense rather than a capital asset by buying one?
Yeah, the question is leasing versus purchasing. I'll share that. Our home office manages all that though, Ken. I don't really understand the details of it, but it's like a lease. They manage the maintenance for us, but yeah, we own the vehicle, so I'll bring it up though. So it's not such an upfront capital expense. Sue, you didn't have a question, you just get an attention? Yeah. Denise?
I just wanted to ask one more question. What size bus are we, I know it was mentioned before, are we looking between one that was 20 and 40 or one that was 30 and 40, or what are we looking at roughly?
The question is, what type of bus are we looking at? We're looking at a number of different models, and you know it's $200,000, and so we want to make sure that we spend it in a way that's going to be the most utilized. Whether that's adding an additional bus that's the size of the one today, and where we can double the outings that we have, or double the number of people that we can accommodate on an outing, or just buying a large bus that could hold twice as many people as the one that we have today. We're going back and forth on that. You hate to spend that kind of money and have it used, 3 times, 4 times, maybe a month at most. But so we're still going back and forth on that. But as soon as we have an answer, we're gonna let you know. I think the main thing though is for you guys to know, it's the whole reason this is in here. Of course, we're still planning to expand, hopefully, one day. But even without that, we know that we've had several trips that reach capacity, so we know that we need to be able to take more people when we go places. So whether we do that with a larger vehicle or the same size vehicle and we send two, we know that that's the need.
Do all vehicles have to have a lift on them too? Or do some do and some don't? How does that work?
Do all vehicles have a lift? Some do, some don't. Typically, what we would try to do with anything that we buy, though, we would want it to have a lift, so that it's the most versatile for needs ranging from residents and independent living all the way through skilled nursing. There's a need for a lift, so typically we get them with a lift. Mrs. S.
Yeah. Does anyone here who's on one of these committees know how many people don't get on the bus but would like to get on the bus? Because that might be one way you would decide what size of bus you're going to get.
The question was, do we know how many people don't end up getting on the bus that wanted to get on the bus? The answer to that is yes, and the way that we monitor that is through signups in Touchtown and cancellations in Touchtown. And we had mentioned last month, if you sign up for an event in Touchtown, if you end up on a waiting list because you sign up for an event that was already full, we would ask that you remain on that list and not take yourself off, because that's the same list that we use to go to when we have cancellations. And so we can use that list from both ways. Ken?
How much financially will this affect our next year's monthly input?
The question is, how much does this impact next year's monthly input? So LSS gives us a capital target each year, and we look at the needs of the community and decide what's the highest priority based on that we can fit into that capital target. Our target next year at Mason Pointe, it's typically somewhere around $2 million, and that's pretty standard on an annual basis. As an organization, though, trust me, it's not lost on the senior leaders of Lutheran Senior Services the impact that last year's increase had on people's budgets, and there's a lot of work happening to make sure that we don't have to do that again this year. So I hesitate to say, I don't want to say too much, but I will just tell you that there's a lot of work that's going on so that you don't see increases quite like that next year. It's difficult to break it down item by item, Ken, because we could do that all day long about each capital item, but that's really the process overall. So $2 million is our target. Any other questions? All right. I've got a couple items just left to mention. Barb mentioned the reusable containers. I won't repeat that, but the idea is that container, when you bring it, you turn it in, and you get a clean one in return. And Diane, help me if I misspeak at all. But so you don't have to write your name on it or anything like that. But I also wanted to add, the CEO of Lutheran Senior Services has challenged all of our communities to eliminate styrofoam and eliminate as many items like that as possible by January 1st next year. And so that's kind of right in line with the where we're going with these reusable containers. Of course, coffee cups, I don't know if we're using styrofoam or paper, but certainly if we went to BYOM, bring your own mug, that could help too. So anyway, I'll just let you know that. I'm off today. I'm killing it. So anyway, reusable containers, you'll have a one-page document here soon. The last thing is the renovations update. So I'm talking about the care center and assisted living. Just to give you an update where we're at, we're renovating a lot of that area. It used to be skilled nursing because we're adding more assisted living. Right now, BSI is planning on turning that space over to us December 1st. And so that means our goal at this point is to begin moving residents out of our current assisted living right around that time frame into those new areas. So that's exciting. If you've driven around that side of campus, you see they've cut the big holes into the building. It's plywood. It'll be a great indoor-outdoor feel for a dining venue for our assisted living residents. But that project's moving right along, and wanted to let you know that. I think we're still open to give tours if anybody wants to walk over there and see it. I'll say, let Barb know, and Barb will have an answer for you how we can do that. So, yeah. And then once that building's empty, then we're ready to expand independent living. All right. That's all I had for updates. How about just open questions and answers? Do we have any today? We've got about 10 minutes here.
I almost need to ask though, so what's the status on the lawsuit and all of that for the independent living expansion?
Yeah, so there hasn't been any changes from last month. I mentioned earlier this month just that we had filed the lawsuit, and I really don't have any updates beyond that at this point. Any other questions out there?
What will happen to those units that you're evacuating, moving? Are you going to redo those? The people that you're moving out to the new facility?
The question is what will happen to the units that we're going to be moving people out of? Well, the hope is that we'll be demoing that building and putting up a new independent living. Yep, that's the goal. Yep, that's right. What other questions? I'm shocked.
Good job.
All right, well, if no other questions, let's get going while it's good then. So we're out early today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.